What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. So I want to give you an overview of what really happened, go over some of the data points and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi, I don't know what to say about their price action as usual. Like everything for the most part was green. SoFi did close 0.77% in the red, did have a low of $6.38. Just shorts, all of this is riddled with shorts. Let me just start off by saying that. I want to break that down later in the video, but today there was 15.6 million shares being traded, 30.8 is the average, and these were some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you saw a couple big ones, but majority of the transactions being done today were sells, and you can tell that based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. So throughout the whole day, there was just constant downward pressure when the broader market in fact was rallying. Not so much at first, because when it came down to some of the data points, non-farm payroll was a little bit higher than anticipated, meaning good data. Market doesn't want good data as usual, very backwards. So 206,000 is the actual, 191 is the forecast, and unemployment came in a little bit hotter, but I think a lot of people were just very focused on the non-farm payroll. And as a byproduct of that, I'll quickly refresh this, give you guys an overview of this. So for the September 18th meeting, now there is a 72% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. And so, yeah, I think generally it is fair to assume that's going to occur unless something completely dramatic does happen in the next month and a half. Aside from that, there is a 5.9% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. So that'd be even better if you ask me, but I feel like 25 the market will be very happy about. At the same time though, which is very, very discouraging, you have this optimism, and as well the fear and greed index was kind of creeping up, right? So this morning I think it was at like 48, now it is at 54. So people's appetite for risk in the market is very high, or somewhat. Take that with a grain of salt, of course, but it kind of puts in perspective on how SoFi once again is just struggling, and it is very, very discouraging. And I get it, I've said it in the past, SoFi isn't a damaged company, it's a damaged stock. There's a big difference between the two, but needless to say, it still is very discouraging. Today, there was no actual news from the company itself. A couple of Form 3s that was submitted after hours. Nothing really crazy, just registering. It looks like this individual right here. So Stefan Simcock, who is general counsel, and those two new board of directors that they just recently did a PR on. Aside from that, absolutely nothing has really been coming out. Rather, shorts have just been pouncing all over SoFi. So today, shorts did increase 6.99 million shares. Yes, you are reading that correct. 7 million shares. That's insane, just rounding it up. But 18.83% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 195.49 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 67.73%. Short score, so the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is 74.52. And then you do see cost to borrow minimum once again being negative, meaning there is a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi. Even though it's not that big of a deal, it's only negative 0.2%. It's kind of the principle, right? So definitely SoFi is riddled with manipulation, and it's very, like I said, just annoying. Even looking right here, of the daily volume for today, 42.21% was attributed to shorts. So like I said, the daily was just riddled with shorts, and just basically looking here as well, so 39.24% of all the volume was redirected off of the exchange to the dark pool. So again, that is something to kind of keep in mind, bigger picture, but yeah, it kind of shows who possibly might be behind the scenes when it comes down to SoFi, especially with all that being redirected, aka market makers. But I think that's kind of a very clear sign, because market makers are the ones that don't want SoFi to be over certain thresholds and strike prices when it comes down to options. So it's very clear that they're the ones behind the scenes. But today there was 2.14 million in calls, 1.19 million in puts. Sentiment wise, 56% of all the options being done were optimistic and bullish, but obviously with all the shorts increasing, it was just shorts hedging. So not necessarily the best. And right now, this is the open interest. So it wasn't even that big of a wall, mind you, but there was around 16,000 in open interest at that 650 strike price. 21,000 at that 7, and not really much after that, so 13,000 at that 750. So going back over here, you had once again a lot of good kind of last minute momentum for it to get to that 650 and higher, and then lo and behold, you had shorts just double down to ensure that it just gets hit down. So I think maybe last week people were just off their game, and like I said during my weekend video on some expectations for this week, typically what you did see is a lot of shorts kind of taking the day off, because yesterday was the 4th of July. What normally does happen is entities, hedge funds take obviously the following day off, have a long weekend. That's what you do see typically, right? But it was very interesting to see exactly the level of shorts getting into SoFi. That does go to show that it is an American entity really in SoFi. So it's an unfortunate circumstance, if you ask me, on how SoFi is, because based on everything, they hit home runs. And most likely for this upcoming earnings as well, member growth is going to be huge. Deposits will be corresponding with that and going up. Product, it's like a triple beat as usual. But SoFi, time and time again, just sells off. So I don't know, especially with their earnings basically at the end of July, you might see an uptick in the stock price. To be fully honest, I have no idea if that is going to occur this time around with the level of manipulation over this last 3 or 4 months. Shorts and just so much has been happening with SoFi. I can honestly say I don't know if it's going to go up based on kind of momentum leading into earnings. It's just a very crappy scenario. But regardless, if you do believe in a bigger picture, like I kind of mentioned about the whole damaged stock, damaged company kind of scenario, if you believe in a bigger picture, then yeah, take advantage of these discount prices, and take advantage as well, especially with the volatility, just sell puts, sell covered calls, collect in premiums, wait till SoFi figures its shit out. Like I said, I don't know if anyone has direct correspondence with Anthony himself, but hopefully for this upcoming earnings, it'd be very epic if Anthony just said, fuck shorts, I'm going to do everything possible to stop them. I feel like that would be, and pardon my French, I'll mind you, but I feel like that would be something very, very epic. So hopefully that does happen, something about that. But with it closing at $6.47, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So $6.39 is a very strong support, and in fact it did bounce off of that for the low. Then $6.52 is that next strong resistance / target, and it kind of bounced off of that general area. So it was just trading between this range today. On the actual chart itself, still low percentile of the Bollinger Band, stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red, but it is still considered oversold. SoFi seems to be one of the only stocks that's in the market right now that is oversold. So maybe that might cause some institutions who are looking for value plays to gravitate towards SoFi. You never know. And then number of retail investors were getting in today. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Did you buy? Did you sell? What did you do? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend planned ahead of them. And stay tuned for my video for this most likely Sunday on some expectations for this upcoming week. So with all that, appreciate all of you watching.